it's like...
You're good. You're good right there.
It's on you, buddy.
I thought you were starting this one.
I started the last one last time.
Did you? Alright.
3, 2, 1.
Yo. Alright, this is the Common Ground, episode 2, about success and I guess what the meaning of it is and kind of all encompassing.
Defining an individual, how it's measured, how it changes with your age, generations, certain things. The date, April 2nd, 2020. We are still in quarantine. How does that make you feel?
How does it make me feel?
Yeah.
I mean, my life really hasn't changed. I don't really do shit. So.
Why is that?
Because I stay home, I'm a homebody. You, it might be different. A lot of other people.
I thought it was cool.
I know friends that are dying to go do stuff, but they can't. So, I mean, besides work and stuff, I kind of just stay here anyway.
Helps me save money.
Save money. I still have to save it.
You're welcome.
And buy a lot of things. Like this book that I thought was going to be big.
But it's physically small.
Fucking pocket. What the? I'm still
It
not.
looked like actual size on the
Did in the picture. It's big, right? Can you believe that?
It's supposed to be a good book, though, right?
Oh yeah. 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. I mean, it has good stuff in it.
So
We'll go over this later.
The book is
7 Laws of Spiritual Success.
pertaining to
today's topic of success. But yeah.
All right.
So what you got for me?
Success. Success for you. What does it mean? Why is that so important for you?
Success. I think my meaning of success is the idea of freedom. The freedom to kind of do what you want when you want, and the idea to find that work, to kind of mix work and passion, to make sure that those are the same things, so that you're not killing yourself every day to go to work. Okay. It's kind of something that you get up and you enjoy doing.
All right.
And then you have the freedom to do X, Y, Z.
Okay.
Without any sort of pressure, to fulfill somebody else.
Yeah, I think that, for me, that's kind of a similar situation. I do think that success has some form of financial independence involved with it. Although I don't necessarily agree that finances is the top level of being successful. I think having that sense of financial freedom in your life is important, because it kind of puts you in a position where finances are, not the forefront of everything you do.
It shouldn't be, but there's people that live outside their means.
Right, and that can create kind of,
that contains friction somewhere else.
Yeah, it does, but it puts you in a position where
I think if you're self-aware,
it absorbs who you are and what you do.
Right.
A lot.
But I also think if you're self-aware,
mm-hmm.
and you know who you are, what you want, and what you expect, and of course, and that kind of goes into success as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go do those things that you know is not going to make you happy. I mean, being somebody else and putting yourself in those predicaments where you're living outside your means.
Yeah.
Is another story.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that not having those things hang over your head, but putting yourself in a position where...
Putting yourself in a position to succeed is probably the start of it. Right.
So yeah, I do think that having that freedom is important. I do think that having time is a majority of...
I think that's what a lot of people seek, bro, freedom.
Yeah, freedom and success, I think, is having a lot of time.
Yeah.
And with that, I guess, depends on what you do, what kind of work you're doing, who you associate with, just kind of what profession you decide to pick. It doesn't necessarily mean, for instance, like, one of my family members, like, yeah, he's got a lot of time now. He's climbed the ladder, he's been working the same type of work for 30 years, but he's got the time. He's going to travel, obviously, without the restrictions that are going on right now. He has the time and the ability to go and travel and experience, like, certain networking and communications with certain people, just because he has that ability to do it.
Right.
Of course, it took him a long time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of struggles for him. There was a lot of setbacks for him, but ultimately he got there.
And that's corporate world?
Yeah, it's corporate world. Yeah. It's desk
How
work.
long did that take?
Like I said, 30 years.
Jeez.
So 30 years.
For me,
approximately. Of course, other people reach and obtain that
you can
level.
Get quicker, faster. Right?
Yeah, it just all sort of depends.
Yeah. I
but
personally couldn't do that.
Yeah, a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't. Partly some of the reasons why we decided to start this. So, it's important to talk about these things. It's important to talk about what success means amongst two normal people.
Yeah.
Where it kind of stands in terms of different age generations think about success. I think it's important that we kind of stop putting a label on it, like a label on success as we continue to grow older, continue to move through time and think about these things. Like, I think we need to stop putting a label on success. So,
Well, putting a label in what sense?
So I don't think that there should be a certain timeline that you should graduate, whether it's high school, college.
That's a big one.
I don't think there should be a label on the amount of money you make by a certain year. You can go through Google and search like, oh, well, there's this 18-year-old, he has $60,000 saved. He's a prodigy.
Like that Fortnite kid.
Yeah, like the Fortnite kid. Like
16.
we think like, oh my God, this kid's made it. He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. Like
Yeah.
he's so ahead of everybody else. How do I get there? Kind of deal. And it's like, wow, you automatically feel like an absolute failure. Like you think this kid for 1 year, like he's 14, however years old,
16, I think.
16 years old, making millions of dollars, and all of a sudden people think like, holy shit, like what do I do?
What am I doing with my
What
life?
am I doing with my life? Stop.
You can't do that. Yeah.
Stop.
That eats into anxiety, depression immediately.
It can lead to a whole bunch of things, a whole
Yeah.
bunch of problems,
There's no
issues.
way that can.
Um,
You can't do that, dude. But that's so like.
But that's putting a label on success. So.
Anytime anything like that happens, you see it all over social media, bro.
Of course.
What the hell am I doing? I got in the wrong profession.
You got it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just-
that's a big one. That's a big one. For
No,
sure.
I think that people like they put a label on it because that's all they know. That's what they've been taught.
Yeah.
It's like the people that like they go about, I mean, the people that we grew up listening to, like our parents.
Mhm.
Our parents have one, our parents grow up and they instill their morals and their values into us. So they automatically instill their values and success into us, which is like not true.
Right.
I mean, because I think, me growing up, when I was taught was, you have a lot of money, you're successful.
6 figures, right?
Yeah.
It's always
which
the
is-
6-figure mark. It's always like, oh shit, he makes 6 figures.
Which is, no, it's just fucking trash, bro.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and say, because the most, people can have a lot of money and be the most unhappy people you've ever met.
Of course.
It doesn't, and people still will, and even today, like you see a lot
Shit
of
like
younger kids,
Robin Williams is one perfect example.
Yeah, dude.
He's depressed.
but he's rich as fuck, and people are like, oh my god, how, why? And there's just some things that you just can't solve with money, bro. There's just so many.
I also think there's kind of like a backlight. Like you see like two sides of things. So on the flip side, you see like, oh, you need to make a lot of money. You're successful. You're happy. You have nothing to worry about. But on the flip side, like money doesn't buy happiness. Like,
And that's so cliche.
and you always see like both sides of that, and it's
Yeah.
always the media where people just saying like money doesn't buy you happiness. Like
you know what the other thing is? People say that, well, money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure would make it a lot easier.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that's a wrong or
I don't think that's
false
wrong
statement.
either. No.
But I do think it's a better one than saying like, oh, well, you need to reach a certain amount of money to be like this
Yeah.
amazing person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's because going back on the Fortnite kid, he can just blow $14 million like that. You see, like Allen Iverson, like that. He had millions of dollars. He had like a posse, and like bought groceries for him, like for the whole posse. You ever see that?
No.
So no, he.
I mean, I knew that Allen Iverson.
Well,
was
yeah.
broke,
Well,
but
he
I
went
didn't
broke because he had a whole posse of people he would always hang out with
know. Yeah.
that would basically
They
live
take
with him.
advantage of him?
No, they would. Well, in a sense, yeah, but he'd buy him cars, groceries, all sorts of shit. And there was even like a moment where like he like lent his buddy a car. It was like a Bentley, like a Continental GT, like $200,000-$300,000 car. He would wrecks it. Not even like 20 minutes later, he goes and dealership buys another like that, cash.
For him? Or for just for
So yeah, for himself, so he can get it. Like so, he has a ride. He didn't have a ride. His buddy had the car. He's gonna pick him up, crashes it, gets another one like 30 minutes later. You know what I mean? So like.
But like even like okay, that's just idiotic. Bro.
Right, but that comes to the point to where like even if you reach these certain milestones that a society kind of puts on like finances and stuff like that, like even someone so popular and so powerful and so rich, famous,
It blows it.
blows through all of it, and all for what? There's nothing to show for it, and so I think like the older I start to get, I start to realize that it's important to understand what finances are, how to deal with it, and how it can't or is not necessarily a
You know,
definition of success.
So the one thing I saw here in this book, and this kind of goes, Because we waste our energy chasing the illusion of happiness instead of enjoying the happiness in the moment.
Absolutely.
So like label
And
it.
that's where FOMO
Yeah,
comes in.
yeah.
What is FOMO?
Fear of missing out, right?
Yeah, it's a big social media kind of label that
Yeah.
people need to do a certain thing and like this is what's gonna make me happy.
I think that's a big thing of like, I'm not saying social media is bad because I know we talk about it a lot,
Yeah.
but that's like putting an illusion. Like the fact that you see all these influencers that have all this shit and all this crap and they're like traveling all these places. I'm not gonna say 90, I'm not gonna put a number on it, but a good amount of that is fake. I'm not gonna sit here and say, no, the figure, but it's not real. And people will sit here and they like idolize these people.
Yeah.
And it's not even close to being real. That's not the truth. And people are gonna sit here and say like David Dobrik, dude. I have so many people that listen to him. He's not a bad guy. I'm not saying he doesn't produce interesting content. And like, it's kind of stupid, but it's actually fun.
Yeah.
You should check it out. But people idolize that guy. But like, that's not real life, dude.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not even close.
And it shouldn't be real life. Like
Oh, no.
I don't think that should be how you should think success should be.
And that's what I'm saying. People, legit kids, literally idolize this guy and say that's the life I want to live. But like, that's not. You can't. Like, that's not.
There's
success.
no way.
No.
I mean, it's such a small percentage.
Of his life that you're seeing.
Right. That, but it's a small percentage of people. But it's always the forefront of what you see.
Yeah.
And so you automatically think, this is it. This
He's
is
buying
what I need.
Teslas for people. He's buying Lamborghinis for people. He's living in LA. Like, he's doing all this badass shit. He's hanging out with all these famous people. It's like, dude.
This is success. This is what
That's
I did.
it. That's like what I
did
wanna
at
be.
parties. This.
Yeah. It's like the same thing. It's just it's insane, dude. But like that's the illusion of happiness.
That's yeah, exactly.
The
That's-
illusion of happiness.
I think that's so true. I think that's
Yeah, that's what
really.
people put as success, but it's not, and that's it. But I mean, so like, let me ask you a question. So you think that your idea of success is
My idea of success, like I said, was reaching sort of like an ability to have time,
right?
but also understanding that having a certain amount of financial freedom is puts you in an ability to have the time to spend with family, friends, and basically have certain goals for yourself that you're able to achieve realistically
Okay, so that
amongst like your basically like your area of like
Right.
your realm of what is obtainable.
so right. So do you think that idea of success will be your idea of success in 10 years?
Not necessarily. It could change. Success is always changing. I think as we continue to grow, like for instance, I'll give you an example. My idea of success was having an apartment, moving out of my parents' house, and starting to pay for things on my own.
Yeah.
Right. What does that end up leading to?
Debt.
Debt. Start living beyond your means, creating a false reality that is not what society. It's basically creating a false reality that you want society to think of you, and that's where my problem was lying. So I decided to move out right away. I started to buy furniture for my apartment. You know, I was always just trying to live up to a certain level of this person that I was trying to reach because I thought that being that person was being successful.
I think that's every young person's.
Of course it is, and that's where I think that it needs to be talked about more,
Yeah.
especially amongst young people. Sure, like older people, they got, they've already 20, 30 years into their career. It's not too late, obviously. It's never too late, but I think even amongst younger people, I think that they need to reach a certain level by having certain things or being somewhere, or moving out, having a car, buying a house, like that level of success needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you see people that are going back to school all the time now.
and I think that's fine.
I don't
That's
have it,
totally okay. If you want to go to college,
Yeah.
cool. If you don't, cool. If you want to go to technical school, cool. Do
Do it like
that.
yeah, it makes you happy, man. That's the thing. But
yeah,
like,
it's such a
society,
standard cliche
If you want to
thing.
get into that, and especially that topic specifically, people have a real big problem. It's like a society. It's as a society we're skewed because if you don't go to college, you're a failure.
Right. Oh,
And
that's
that
a
is-
huge one.
That's
a huge
big
one.
happening right now.
Right.
You'll never be successful because you didn't go to school. That's
But that
bullshit.
doesn't say that's not to say like, oh, well, I'm not going to college. I'm going to be successful because I'm not going to college.
That's true.
You got to be doing something. You got to
Right.
be actively
But
putting
there's-
yourself in a
And
position.
my thing is, there's plenty of people out there that just school's not for them.
Right. I totally agree.
It's just not for you.
Of course.
And you can go do things without it, but the whole thing is that, especially like people like my parents' age, like I remember I didn't go to school for that semester.
Mhm.
Remember I didn't go to school for
And
that
they
semester.
automatically think, oh, holy
Oh,
shit,
my
what the fuck
mom.
are you gonna do?
My mom lost it.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Yeah,
lost
freak
it.
the hell out. Yeah.
Saying, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna? What's gonna happen? You need to go to school. And first of all, I knew I was gonna go back to school. I wasn't like planning to not go back.
Right.
I was like, dude, like life goes on, and even if I didn't, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, of
There's
course.
plenty of things that you can do if you don't go to school,
Mhm.
and that's what society doesn't understand.
But that also comes within like kind of the drive that you have too. So like, I mean, yeah, you could totally skip going to college and not doing those things, but at the same time, like you could totally fuck around, deal drugs, like, you know what I mean? Like you can.
There's
you
a
can really get-
there's a fine line.
There's a fine line.
There's a fine
Of
line.
course, there's a fine line, but I mean, I think like that's I guarantee that's where my holy shit, he's gonna start selling drugs. He's gonna.
That sounds like a word.
I don't know.
That sounds like something.
That's what, you know what I mean?
Like they automatically think the worst possible
Yeah,
things.
that's every parent, bro. And that's
I
how it's
agree.
always gonna be.
Yeah,
It's
it's
how-
like you have to have some.
But now that's where I think like when we start to grow up and have kids, or if we don't have kids, like we need to start teaching our youth these things. Like these are things that have been a consistent problem.
And I
for
think that
years.
that's just how life evolves, bro. Like
Of
our
course.
parents were taught one thing, so they think, well, you know, I've seen people that I look up to. Like I'm talking as my parents. I've seen things that I looked up to. Those guys are successful, so that's how I need to be successful. That's how you need to be successful.
Yeah. No,
Can't
it doesn't
happen.
work that way.
Because everybody's different, bro. Whether it's your kid or it's not, like life is always it's moving. So like everything change. Like just society in general is gonna change. So success and ideas of happiness are always gonna be moving, right?
For sure.
So I mean, so it's like I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of setting up my success now, like my idea of it, so that yeah, in 10 years, 20 years, it'll still be my idea of success. I'll still be doing what I love, hopefully,
Yeah.
and making a decent amount of money.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I need to have X, but like enough to where I can support myself, and that's not going overboard and trying to buy a massive ass house and buy nice cars. Like, no, I don't need
But
that.
if it ends up being that way, then
I mean, if it were
Sure.
to, yeah, but like I don't need that.
right.
You know, just live life the way that it's going to make me happy at the time, and have time to do X, Y, Z with my friends, my family. If I have kids, it's time with my kids, whatever it is,
Yeah, for sure.
to be able to handle that.
I do also think that having that time is important as well because you want to be there while your kids, or if you're gonna have kids, be there.
Yeah, have kids. Yeah, my thing. That's a whole new story.
But be there for your kids when they're growing up. Like have the ability to go and do those things because you can
Yeah.
is an important.
I mean, to your point, like where you thought you had to live this certain lifestyle. How old were you when you did that? When you got your apartment?
Oh,
You
man.
22?
Yeah, 22. Just right at college.
Man, I had that same thing, that same problem.
I think a lot of
I
people
mean,
have that.
no, but like you knew me. Like I had a big problem where I had
Yeah.
to buy nice things. I had to have all these things because I thought, you know,
That's what's gonna make you.
that's
look
what's gonna
a
make me look
successful
cool.
person.
It's gonna make me look awesome. I'm gonna look like I have all this money. When in turn, I'm drowning in debt now.
Yeah.
Still, because of all the some of the dumb decisions I did make.
Yeah.
You know, buying a new car. I probably need to buy a new car. Or buying all these other things and like having like all the nicest clothes.
Right.
And like having the nicest shoes, having this and that, X to Y, it just didn't count. Sure, the people I was surrounding myself with at the time
Mhm.
probably didn't help the situation.
Of course. That could be another kind of segue into how success kind of alters like your
Mindset.
Your mindset, right.
Yeah, I mean, so like at the time I was surrounding myself with people I should probably, you know, I'm not saying they're bad people, but it wasn't people I
Right.
should have been looking up to at the time.
Right.
And following these people on social media saying that's what happiness is, and look at this person, this, that, and bloggers and influencers and saying, oh, there's goals. That's a big thing, goals. That's what
Mhm.
goals are. That's a social media thing, hashtag goals.
Yeah.
And like that's what I saw, dude. And
Yeah.
like that's what I went after, but like thinking that was gonna bring me happiness. And eventually it led to this explosion of feelings
Yeah.
that this is not it, bro.
You just
Like,
start
this is
swirling
not
your mind
yeah.
and thinking that it's
this,
like
and this was just not it.
this fake reality that you
Right,
created.
and you grow out of it.
Yeah.
I think everyone goes through that point, and you'll find yourself.
But here's the thing. Like I also think that my moving out, well, the same way like you buying stuff and moving out or whatever you're spending your money on. I don't think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have learned.
Right, the same for me. I'm like partially mad at myself for doing some of these things. Granted, I do still have some things that was a smart purchase because I haven't had to buy certain things that they've lasted me. But if I wasn't in that spot, in that position, I would not have. I won't know
You
what I
wouldn't
do
have
now. We would have never.
That's
learned.
life.
Yeah.
That's life as we know it. I
Yeah.
think people don't need to be so hard on themselves in the sense that like, hey, I seriously messed up. Like
Yeah, damn, like don't
oh,
dwell.
like don't dwell on it.
Don't dwell.
Like that's literally how, you know, that's hitting a wall and being able to break through it and
Yeah.
being able to come back from that
Mhm.
and realizing like that was a lesson
Yeah, I don't
that you
think.
learned.
I think. I mean, this is another topic, but you know, you hint on it. Like dwelling on stuff holds you back because a lot of people will still sit back and look at stuff they did in the past. Like,
Yeah.
and they'll sit and they'll just think about it and then they'll just keep eating out of the can. That's something else for the time, but that's a lot of people do that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, to that point in life, you know, success. I think that kids, not just kids, but I think us too, have been fed this lie. I'm serious, like of success, bro. I'm serious. They've been fed that lie, that like.
I see you kind of like side-eyeing it.
I mean, they've been fed this lie that like success is when you get comfortable, bro.
Yeah. And you know, we think about these higher level people that are still actively engaged into what they do. You know, you think about like, for example, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, those sorts of guys who will reach the top
Yeah.
and very quickly in that
I
amount
mean,
of
no
time.
time. That's never very quickly. We
But-
see them very quickly.
Right.
And you think-
I would say
Yeah.
very quickly in,
Yeah.
in quotations because it's kind of like, depending on who you're looking at, like, holy shit, this guy just kind of popped out of nowhere kind of deal.
Yeah.
But obviously, it did take a long time, for sure. But they rose to fame pretty quick, make a shit ton of money, and, you know, another idea is that they think that success is sitting around and doing nothing.
It's getting to that point where like you have money, to where you can just sit. You're just gonna do fucking nothing. You're just gonna sit at home. But like that is such a
Flawed. It's a flawed
it's a figment of your
idea.
imagination that doesn't ever exist.
Yeah, it's a flawed idea
And
of
I
what
think that there's
success
some
is.
there's some people out there that still feed that to their kids. Like, oh, when you get to my point, you won't ever have to do anything.
Yeah.
You'll be successful when you can sit back and you can watch everybody else do everything.
Yeah.
When you're the boss, right?
Mhm. That's such a closed-minded approach.
Oh yeah, but it's out there. You know it's out
But
there.
I don't ever think that should be I mean, I know you're saying that that's a bad thing, that's a bad idea of what success is,
Yeah.
but I also think that should never ever be a thing of success because then you just close your mind off.
Oh yeah.
Most people that end up getting to that point typically don't just like stop.
Dude, no one does.
So that's what I'm saying. So like I think like that's a skewed and flawed perspective on what it is to be successful and reach that certain point. So like you're saying like, for example, you were talking to me earlier. You know, like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, especially right now with the coronavirus, like, they're giving back
Thousands,
millions of dollars, thousands of gear for, you know, hospitals. All those, they're always giving back in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
Like they're always finding a way to make things easier for people. You know, even if society thinks they hoard all this sort of money, like
Well, I think that's
that's a whole other
yeah,
topic.
I
I
don't
know,
think that's ever actually true.
but but you have to see that these people back to success, like they're not just stopping.
No.
You know, they always hear about this kid, how to live up until you're 30 years old, and then you retire. Like, that's never a thing. No one ever retires at 30. They can continue, because if you sit there on a beach for like 3 weeks and watch a movie, like, you're like, what the hell is going on? People are sitting outside right now doing that and losing their minds.
Yeah, you should know.
So I don't think it's not, that shouldn't be a true obtainable goal
No, I think
when it comes to success.
I think on a side note, success. I think like, you know, people are. I mean, the idea of like having a successful life, I think, is like, you know, it's always a journey. It's like a life of like living a bunch of different life, like things that you learn.
It's going to be different for everybody.
All right, true, but like for me especially, like I've learned so much just by like going through things. Like I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
Mhm.
I don't think I'll be there for a while.
That's
But
okay.
you know, and I heard Joe Rogan say it's like life's just this big thing, just building up
Yeah.
and like moving.
And
through all
that's
these different
totally
things.
okay. That should be
It's
a
just like-
totally okay thing for you.
Yeah,
Like that's
I just
fine.
want to. I want to number one experience a whole lot of things, but like I'm grateful that I had the chance to see all these different, you know, issues and
Right.
problems and hardships, because it's like you gain something, you've overcome that, and it's like you kind of put that in your back pocket. Like, okay, I have that. I've
Right.
overcome this. I've overcome this. I've overcome this, and that's kind of like a version. Of
And that's the way I think that success should be monitored in that sense. That you're able to look back and see that, you know what, I did overcome these things. I was able to come back and get back on my feet and move on towards this and do this or do this. Like that is success at its core.
Yeah.
And I do think that there shouldn't be a label on all of these things. Like we're just on so like we understand that everyone is different. Everyone's gonna go and do things so differently that we as a society need to stop putting a label and a certain level of success on other people's lives, and we more so need to think about what they've been able to achieve and what they've been able to overcome in their life, not hitting a certain milestone. I mean, that could be, but we need to understand that everyone's going to be different.
Yeah. So
Whatever that is.
So you don't think that you should put a money sign on happiness?
No. I think it's really dumb. I think that is fake media, fake level of consuming information that is just completely false. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's a fake reality that people see on social media, they see on the news or whatever, wherever they're looking at stuff. I think it shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't ever be the idea of how success should be measured at all.
I mean, I just see it like this. I see a lot of people, whether they're like, athletes, if you're a musician, if you're an actor, if you're an athlete, I mean, I think I already said that, or like just somebody, a businessman, an entrepreneur, all those people never go after what they're doing for money, bro.
Most of them don't, and then end up just doing what they love and then obtaining money
fuckloads,
afterwards.
right? But that, like, people
And that's cool.
think, like, oh, I want to be like this guy because he's got a lot of money.
Right.
So I'm going to jump in that direction because that's what he sees as success.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to do too. And they go down this path, and they might be going down it, right? And they fuck it up.
Right.
They
Because
fuck
they're
it
just
up.
chasing money.
Because they're chasing money, you get burnt out.
Yeah.
But if it's something you actually want to do, like I think that's finding purpose and passion will lead to success if you're actually chasing things for the right reason.
So, on the note that you're saying that chasing money will burn you out,
Mm-hmm.
how would you like to approach being successful? So if it was up to you and you're trying to determine like, how do I reach certain goals or do certain things, like,
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people don't know what their passion is. Some people don't find it out.
mm-hmm.
And I'm doing this because this is something that I want to do now. Is this my passion in a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years?
Maybe.
I don't know. But then you have to go out and try shit.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
if you just say that, oh, I'm going to write books. I mean, I was writing books a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
a little less than a year ago, and it just fizzles out. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It was
Right.
interesting at the time.
Playing Fortnite.
Playing Fortnite, I was going to be a pro Fortnite player.
Yeah. But the idea is that you're trying shit.
Yeah, you're doing a whole bunch of different things. I try, and you gotta if you're gonna go do something, you gotta go all in. If
I
you
was,
go halfway, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, I was listening to Gary Vee, and we're gonna mention Gary Vee a lot on here, and I really do think it's kind of like.
I mean, he kind of gave me that notion of it. You gotta do a bunch of different shit.
Right, and so he kind of compared it to a baseball player. Like if you're going up to
I don't know
bat,
what it is.
and yeah, so if you're going up to bat, right,
Yeah.
and say you hit the ball 3 out of the 10 times you're up to bat,
Right.
you might have failed 7 different times, right? But if you hit 3,
Yeah.
or hell, even 2, like you're a pretty decent baseball player.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you think about that like in the sense like, oh, I'm trying 10, 15, 20 different things. The more options you have, the more availability of things working for you.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself more options to try
options,
things
yeah.
instead of just going down one single road
Yeah.
that you've just wanted to just go down because
Yeah.
that's what society tells you what to do, and that's what you feel like you need to do because
Yeah.
this is what's gonna make others think that you're successful.
Right. Yeah. No. I that's something I agree because I've been doing all these different things. I was trying to write books. I was trying to be a Fortnite player, Twitch streamer, whatever. Now we're doing this. It's like you have to try these whole different things because you're not gonna know what your passion is if you just sit at home
Yeah.
and do nothing all day and you're scared to act on all these different things. You're gonna have to push stuff out. You're gonna have to
And I
try.
also think it's really cool that you don't give a fuck.
No,
You don't give a
yeah.
fuck what anybody thinks.
It took
You
a
could
long
write a
time.
book like for 2 months and be like, I don't want to do it. People are
Yeah.
like, bro,
Yeah,
you
people
wrote
give me
a fucking
shit.
book.
I used to
They
have
give you
friends,
shit.
Yeah, I used to have friends give me shit.
And then
well,
you're like-
last week you were doing this, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Like it.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like you're still going out and trying stuff. Like,
Took a long time to get there, bro.
and that's what I'm saying. Like that's life. That's
Yeah, I know.
that's you. That's you and what you want to do, and you're not giving a shit about what anybody's saying about what you're trying.
Yeah.
At least you're trying.
Took a long, like honestly, I don't think I've been holding on to book ideas like that for fucking years.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was literally
You're worried.
afraid. I was
You're worried
afraid
about what
like
people
people were
say.
gonna make fun of me.
Yeah.
And then I just fucking did it, and I gave the book to a couple of my friends and family members, and I let them read it.
That's how it was
I still
about-
have it, and it's just like it just didn't pan out. Like big deal. But like people are like my brother gave me shit the other day. Why aren't you writing a book?
Yeah.
Like who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like I'm just gonna keep evolving with shit that happens, bro. Like if this is what I want to do now, I'm gonna do it now, and it doesn't fucking matter what you or he or she, whoever thinks. And it's a lot easier said than done.
Right.
But like you just gotta like brush that shit.
Yeah, exactly. I was the same way about posting on social media. I always thought like, oh, I gotta look a certain way on social media. My face needs to look a certain way. I need to be. My hair needs to be combed a certain way. Oh no, my hair is fucked.
Yeah, my face is ugly.
No, I think it's more so about the message you drive.
Oh yeah.
And
the content itself.
The content that you're producing that is, you know, quality and acceptable, you know, and not giving a fuck what people say.
That's tough. That is tough.
And it's tough, and that's a big.
And that's something that you have to just like judge, bro. You have to just go.
Yeah, and most young people aren't gonna do that right away.
Especially young people are afraid to put their.
Yeah, they're afraid to put.
Some don't. Some just don't give a shit.
It just depends who you are.
You know who that one kid that you seen with Hancock?
I remember Hancock.
So you modeled it after me. Like, that dude, fuck.
He didn't give a shit. Yeah, bro, he started breakdancing in the hallways.
He didn't give a fuck. He didn't.
But he did. He did it.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Dude. I think about that kid daily, bro.
And he's
literally.
still alive.
Would Hancock do that today, bro?
I don't know, but I remember actually we were doing the SAT study course, and the dude didn't give a fuck so much that he started sliding down the rails of the stairs, bro. He was in a different area of the school, sliding down rails because he wanted to.
I'm just gonna be honest, that kid was on a different planet. He was somewhere else, man. But
that's the thing, man.
He did not give a shit.
And he is still alive. He is still well. I'm sure he is. He's alive and well.
That kid just disappeared one day, man.
It doesn't matter though.
I know.
The idea is like he still graduated. He still did it, and he did what he wanted to do. And you know what? We still have that freaking video of him dancing somewhere, but maybe he'll be dancing.
Didn't give a fuck, dude. That was awesome. I just thought about that right now, but low-key I did think about him a lot, and I'm like, dude, that kid didn't give a shit. So,
no, he didn't give a crap about what people thought, man. And he had ladies, dude.
Did he really?
I don't know. He probably did. He was dancing all day, man.
Did he really?
Yeah, dude. Girls like dancers. I don't
know about that dancing. It was just.
He was legit breakdancing in
I remember.
Like spinning around, like doing like complete 360s on the ground. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. He was I don't know. Like I remember his parents paid like $300 for him to do the SAT course. We were in there like, all right, SAT, I gotta get to college. I gotta pass this thing big time. Get to college. Dude was legit sliding down the stairwells. That was what he was doing. Because he wanted to.
I fully agree, man. I believe that's huge, man. If you're gonna be successful, you can.
And I guarantee you, all those kids in that freaking room.
We're like, what the fuck is this?
No. Not only that, but even if they're in the same room, I went in that class and I bombed my SAT, bro. I was like 300 points below average on my SAT. I think the average at that point was like 1,500. Highest score was like 2,400 back in the day. I scored legit like a 1280.
I don't want to talk about this.
It was bad. But that's my thing, like, you know, like I guarantee all those people were paying all this sort of money to be in that room, like trying to study or pass their SAT, and all for what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like that wasn't my measure of success for me. I mean, that just was not. I was terrible at standardized exams. I should have been breakdancing instead. Who knows?
But you know, the story you can take from that is that people sit here and they'll judge, especially high school seniors.
Yeah, they'll judge.
They'll judge off of like, oh, what'd you go to your SAT? Oh, I scored X.
And they'll be like,
oh wow, yeah. That shouldn't have mattered to you because you ended up graduating from UT, which is one of the top universities in the country.
It's a flagship institution in Texas.
Yeah, you still graduated. Now you know, but people were fucking.
It took trials and tribulations and steps to getting to that position.
And that's a pretty big goal.
And that's what I go back and think about a lot. Mm-hmm. Was because I was just so terrible at school.
Yeah. I
was so bad at school. It's not even the fact that I wasn't smart. Mm-hmm. My mind was just elsewhere. I was just focusing on baseball, focusing on girls, like all sorts of crap, you know? Yeah. But that wasn't I can't let those certain hardships in my life change my perspective on how I wasn't successful early on in life. That was just, those were the things I needed to do to learn.
Yeah.
The same way you would spend money, or the same way I moved out of my apartment. Those things created an ability for me to understand that I needed to overcome those things.
Yeah.
To or go through those things to ultimately
I mean,
learn.
yeah.
That's learning. Like,
I mean, I had to go through school.
At its core.
I didn't even. I don't think if it wasn't for baseball, I don't think I would have gone to college.
and that's fine.
I honestly went to college to appease my parents.
Yeah,
100%.
most people do.
150%. Now, it's a fine line because I don't regret going to school.
Right.
Because I met a lot of really good dudes. At
Right, you network.
I know all kinds.
But you don't need college to network and
No,
communicate with
but I
people.
met a lot of friends through that process.
Yeah.
So I don't regret it, but at the same time, the debt that I've accrued over going to school all these years, yeah, it pisses me
Yeah.
off because I didn't want that.
Right.
You know, I never wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something that my mom and my dad literally forced into me. Like, oh, you gotta go to school, you gotta go to college, you gotta go to college.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was kind of forced into taking that my first letter of intent to incarnate word, which really set me back a lot.
Right.
That was my biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
Should have taken that, but it was you gotta go to school, you gotta play somewhere, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And I was like, I kind of forced into that. And at the time, I'm sure I was a little lost, but
Yeah, I mean, we're kids, man.
yeah, man. So of
For
course I'm gonna
kids.
do whatever you.
You get to, exactly. You always listen
You
to
put
your
a piece
parents.
of paper in my face and say, hey, we're gonna give you X amount of dollars, and it was jack shit.
Yeah.
And
you
you're
don't
like,
know
oh
it.
my God,
You don't even know
okay.
how the whole process works. It's
Yeah.
just like something you just.
Yeah,
That's
you're
what
like,
I gotta do.
Okay, I'll put, you know. And
And even it's funny because I had so on the flip side I had my college paid for
yeah,
way before I was even born
yeah.
from Texas Tomorrow Fund.
That's a privilege right there.
It was a privilege, and I don't think that's like I don't take that for granted at all. You know, of course, like when I have kids, I hope that I have that ability to send them to college without any debt as well. But college was never an option. It
Yeah.
was just that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, even before I was born, that was
Yeah.
it was never
Yeah.
if you go to college. It was when you go to college.
Yeah.
Always,
Yeah.
always, and I think that mindset really it takes a toll on kids or
Yeah, it's pressure
people
because
in general because they think that's what they got to do.
because kids, especially there's a lot of 18-year-old kids graduating from high school that a lot of them are brighter than others, to be 100%, and they know what they want in life,
Right,
but they're so forced by their parents
right.
to do this, and this, and it's sort of towards the gratification of their parents rather than the kid.
Yeah, it takes
and
away
that's a
from
big
your talent.
friction happening.
Yeah.
I mean that's something else. I'm just saying that is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I never gave that friction because I never thought I had a choice. Maybe I did, but at the time I didn't think I had a
I don't
choice.
think I have a choice either.
No,
Okay.
so I mean, you're going to college. And if, like I said, when I didn't go to college, 3 years later, first
Mhm.
semester, I witnessed what happened and why.
Right.
Because then he just flipped out.
Right.
Maybe it shouldn't have happened that way,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, so like, okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
So like, success, right? Do you feel that you should chase success and then live a little bit, or should you kind of? I mean, I'm saying balance. You believe in balance.
Do I
Right.
believe in balance?
No, you believe in it.
I do.
That's your business.
Yeah. No, I do.
Balance itself.
But I do think that it's important to create a position for yourself to not be so consumed by reaching this idea of success. I do think that it's important to go places or travel or be with your family, friends, and kind of create like an overall, realm for yourself to kind of put yourself in a place to be successful. Now that's not to say like go and party every weekend and go spend $1,000 tickets to travel to friggin' France or something like that. Like I do think that you need to live below your means and kind of, develop ways on going to trips for a discount or, whatever. But like ultimately like still having the ability to create memories for yourself.
Yeah.
Getting sleep at night and putting yourself in a position to where you're happy while you're going through the process of becoming or reaching a certain goal or becoming successful. Like ultimately putting yourself in a position where you're happy and you're enjoying the process.
Right.
That's what I believe is an important overall idea of going through success for me. Like I don't necessarily think that you should eat shit for 10 years and work for 10 years and that's it. You don't do anything else. I don't think that's how you enjoy your life the most. But I think
it is.
it's
I don't-
different for people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say I disagree with you because it's not really you're saying to eat shit for 10 years. It's Gary Vee, but that's what he references all the time. How he ate shit, he ate shit, he did all this stuff. He did
Eat
this.
the peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
Live in a studio apartment with 10 of your friends. Like
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like
I don't know
I think
about that.
if you want to live that lifestyle and you're trying to like, okay, so say if you're trying to be like an actor or like a painter in like New York or California, and you have absolutely no choice but to do that. Sure. If you could find 10 friends to friggin' sleep next to you, and you have friggin' feet next to your face.
I don't know about that.
Sharing a bathroom. And
I
stuff.
don't mind. I think that's something that I personally think and that's just me because I don't mind sitting at home and working all day long. And like if it's something that I love, I get lost in it, bro. I'll be there for hours.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I'll just do. So the idea of me sitting and working for 10 years and then kind of taking time to maybe relax or go on vacation or do stuff, like I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah.
But that's where we're.
But that's just where
we're completely different.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all really just going to depend on who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what society wants you to do and what
Just,
other people want you to do.
Yeah.
So you do what ultimately makes you happy, what's going to make you continue to drive and be successful. You know, I think if you're just sitting at a desk or doing, you know, something for 10 years straight, you can get burnt out from it. Like you're gonna get burnt out, you're gonna get tired, you're gonna lose that love. You know, it's kind of like going to, when we were playing baseball as kids, like going to practices every freaking day, like in the heat, Texas heat, summer, like you're gonna get tired. And sometimes you lose love for it. Sometimes people don't. You know, of course, everyone's different.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think. I mean, you'll see it's like a love-hate thing.
Yeah, it's a love-hate thing, right? And so I guess some people tend to lean either more so towards loving it, and some people tend to lean more towards hating.
Yeah.
You know, because my whole childhood, I mean, our whole childhood was just consumed by playing baseball. And I remember there was times I wanted to hang out with my friends and do certain things.
Oh, you can't. You're going out of town. Going out of town. Or we're doing this. Or doing that.
Every single weekend was consumed with going to a baseball tournament.
Yeah.
And part of me feels like, you know, this is what it's like to work hard, and this is it. This is working hard. Like you're not letting distractions get to you. At the same time, like, man, I could have.
You missed that birthday.
I missed those certain memories I could have created when I was a kid. But at the flip side, like I'm not disappointed at it. Like I enjoyed playing baseball. I enjoyed playing and being on a team. I miss being on a team now.
I mean, I miss it. Kind of.
That's what I mean.
I think that it was a little different for me because I
you're in college,
a little bit longer,
right?
And that was tough. There's certain aspects I missed of it, and like there's certain aspects that I don't.
Yeah. What are some of the don'ts?
You really, when you're done playing, you really value free time, bro.
Yeah.
Free time.
That's what I was saying, and that kind of leads back to like not trying to consume yourself with work all the time.
One thing that I do regret, and I'm not it's not a huge thing, but like when I stopped playing, the first year of me not playing baseball, because it carried on to so much of my life, the first year of me not playing baseball was tough, because I didn't know what the hell I was supposed to do with myself.
Right.
Because that's all you did.
You're figuring out your schedule. You're figuring out everything.
Yeah, you're always doing something. You're always throwing. You have to go throw. You have to go hit. You have to go hit. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to
Hell,
make
when
sure
they're
you're playing.
freaking eat.
You have to make sure you're working out. You have to find time. It's like it's such a full-time schedule.
Right.
So that the minute that I finished and I went to school, like I felt like I was like,
where the hell do I go?
What am I supposed to do? I go
home. How do I fill these gaps? Like,
do I go home?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
You know what you do? You just head back home.
Yeah, I just head back home. Like it's wild. That's the one thing I regret is like I never put my life. I never did anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like sure, you kind of had other things. You played guitar. You did a bunch of like. For me, my dad would legit make it to the point where like it was baseball all the time, every day, and like when it ends, it's gonna. And this is a sad thing to think about. Like it ends, it's gonna end, and I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
So that's when like now I finally started picking up all these hobbies and doing all these other things. But like it took me like a year to figure it the fuck out.
That's okay.
And that is okay, but especially the girl I was dating at the time and like my mom at the time, like people were like.
They wanted a certain thing for you to do because you're not on a team.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get a job? Are you gonna do this? And I'm just like, for me internally, I was trying to figure it out.
Right.
And it's just.
And you're still trying to figure it out now?
I was still trying to figure it out, just like they were trying to figure it out, but they impose this pressure on you because they want you to
uphold
this certain lifestyle.
Right.
Right. And it's just like that's not true. Like it's not. Everybody's always trying to figure it out, but it's like it all goes back to like success, and at the time, the success was trying to figure out what the hell I was gonna do.
Yeah,
but it's all huge.
And finding your own happiness ultimately.
Yeah,
it's just like the most important part.
Yeah, man. But that's like the whole thing. Like I didn't know what the hell I was gonna do, and now things are a little bit different. You have to take the time, but like maybe I needed that little bit of time to figure out, where I was going and what I was gonna figure out. But like people impose stress on people all the time of what they view as success, and that's not always the case.
Yeah, and I think currently with current events going on right now, being stuck at home, and you know, it goes back to like our previous topic on mindset, like where you're really like, instead of looking at this downtime or any downtime that you may have in the future, I think it's important to put yourself in a position where you're actively trying things. Like
Yeah.
you're doing something that whatever it is. If something pops in your head and you're trying it and you want to try it, research it, do it, and see what happens from it.
You can't be scared to go after it.
Yeah, it can't be scary. Like I think that's a major problem that we have. It's just like, what are people gonna think of me? Or oh my god, I'm starting this business. I'm starting this podcast. I'm starting this, whatever it may be. But like, ultimately, like, it's all within what you make of everything. Like this downtime for me was ultimately the time for me to start this
Yeah.
and work on my side business and work with clients
Which
and wonder.
which is all
more.
building stones to what your view of success is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Feel that.
The forefront of successfulness.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, man. So what's next? What are we doing next?
I think that about tops it. If any of y'all have anything to say or anything
Questions?
to comment, feel free to. If you got a certain topic that you're interested in, shoot
Let
us a
us know,
DM,
yeah.
comment below. We'll put their descriptions and tags in the bottom.
Mhm.
Appreciate you for turning in.
Yeah. Check us out. Next
Tuesdays, Thursdays,
Tuesdays, Thursdays.
we'll be on. Send us some love, give us a follow, whatever it may be.
Yeah, whatever.
Mellowhead,
Yeah.
get a Mellowhead.
Alright.
Thanks, guys. Peace.